Deep in the heart of the Congo rainforest, where few dare to venture, a strange story has echoed through the trees for years. A story of a girl raised not by humans, but by gorillas. At first, it was only a rumor. Whispers passed from one local village to another. They spoke of a shadow, small and swift, moving through the trees, mimicking the great apes. Some said it was a spirit. Others believed it was a curse. We would hear her laughter. Not like a monkey, not like a child, something in between. She moved with them, but not like them. She was different. Hunters reported seeing her from afar, barefoot, covered in mud, hair tangled like vines. She never spoke. She never ran from the gorillas. She ran with them, but no one could get close. The gorilla troop she traveled with, led by a dominant female, would grow hostile if anyone approached, fiercely protective, as if they were guarding not just a member of their kind, but a secret. What was this girl's story? Had she truly been raised by apes? Or was there something far deeper hiding beneath the vines and silence of the forest? No one knew her name. No one knew her past. But soon, the truth would begin to unravel, and it would change everything we thought we knew about nature, intelligence, and family. Dr. Lena Hart had spent years studying the behavior of gorillas in the wild, but nothing could have prepared her for what she was about to discover. While researching in the dense heart of the Congo, Lena had heard the rumors, like everyone else. But she was determined to find the truth, to uncover what lay hidden beneath the surface of those whispered stories. Armed with a small team, she ventured deeper into the forest, where few dared to go, guided only by the faintest of clues and a trail that led into the unknown. One day, as the sun began to sink low in the sky, casting a soft glow over the jungle, Lena saw something that made her heart race. At first, it was just a glimpse, movement in the trees. But as she pushed forward, the sight became clearer. There, just beyond the thick branches, was a figure. A girl. She was moving with a grace that wasn't quite human, and yet, not fully like an ape either. She leaped from one branch to another, effortlessly, her body in sync with the gorillas surrounding her. The girl, with her wild hair and eyes full of untold secrets, was living among them. Lena froze, heart pounding. She had been following the stories, but seeing it firsthand was beyond her wildest expectations. This wasn't a myth, nor was it just a child lost in the jungle. The girl, with her bare feet and the way she blended seamlessly with the gorillas, was real. She watched from a distance as the gorillas moved around the girl. The matriarch, a massive gorilla named Keela, seemed especially protective, keeping the others in check whenever they got too close to the girl. It was clear that this was no ordinary situation. Lena's mind raced. How could this be? How had the girl survived here all these years? And why had she never been found before? The girl's movements were fluid, almost instinctual. She wasn't just surviving, she was thriving in the jungle. It was like she belonged here, like she was part of their family. But the deeper question lingered. Who was she? Where did she come from? And what was the true story behind her connection to the gorillas? As Lena ventured deeper into the jungle, her curiosity grew stronger, pulling her closer to the truth about the girl. She returned the next day, more prepared. This time, she had the right tools to communicate with the girl and, perhaps, gain her trust. Lena knew she had to tread carefully. The last thing she wanted was to alert the gorillas, especially Keela, whose fierce protection of the girl was unmistakable. Lena's heart raced as she slowly approached the edge of the gorilla troop's territory. She spotted the girl again, sitting on a large rock, her back to the jungle. The gorillas were scattered around, but Keela was close by, watching intently. Lena's breath caught when the girl turned and locked eyes with her. There was no fear, no hesitation in those eyes. Instead, they were filled with something deeper, an unspoken understanding. It was in that moment that Lena realized this wasn't just a lost child or a freak accident. This girl, who had been living with gorillas for so long, had developed something extraordinary. She had learned their ways, their behaviors, but there was more to her story, a story that was hidden in the shadows of the jungle. The girl finally spoke, breaking the silence. Her voice was soft, but it carried an unmistakable clarity. "I'm Maya," she said, the first words Lena had ever heard from her. "Keela is my mother." The statement was so simple, yet so profound. It sent a chill down Lena's spine. How could this be? A gorilla? A wild animal? Her mother? Maya's words hung in the air as Lena tried to comprehend the unimaginable. She began to ask questions, but Maya's responses were fragmented, like pieces of a puzzle she wasn't yet ready to complete. Maya gestured toward the jungle, her eyes distant as if recalling memories long buried. She spoke of a time before the gorillas, a time when she had been part of a family, one that had been lost to a tragic accident. The pieces began to fit together, but they still didn't make sense. Lena's mind raced. She could now see it more clearly. The girl wasn't just raised by gorillas, she had been saved by them. But saved from what? And why had she been hidden away for so long? The truth was becoming murkier by the minute, but one thing was certain. Maya wasn't just a girl who had lived with gorillas. She had a connection to something far greater. And somewhere in the jungle, hidden in the layers of Maya's memories, was the answer. As Lena continued to speak with Maya, the pieces of the puzzle started to fit together in ways she never expected. Maya's memories, though fragmented, painted a picture of something far beyond a simple tale of survival. Maya had been born to two wildlife conservationists, passionate about gorilla preservation. They had come to the Congo to study the gorillas in the wild, hoping to make a difference in their conservation efforts. But their dream came to a tragic end when a plane crash shattered everything. Maya, only a baby at the time, had survived the crash, left stranded in the wilderness. It was then that Keela, the gorilla matriarch, had found her, broken, alone, and helpless. Keela had been a part of a government experiment, one that aimed to enhance the intelligence of gorillas to create a new kind of partnership between humans and primates. But Keela had escaped long before the project could be completed. And when she found Maya, something inside her changed. It wasn't just instinct that led her to care for the child. It was something deeper. Keela had taken Maya in, raising her as her own. Maya didn't fully understand at first, but over time, she began to sense the bond that had formed between her and Keela. The gorilla had protected her like a mother would, guiding her through the harsh wilderness. And Maya had learned to adapt, to survive in the jungle, mimicking the behaviors of the gorillas around her. She had learned their language, their movements, their way of life. Maya had become part of the troop, not just as an observer, but as a member, fully integrated into their world. But the truth wasn't just about a girl raised by a gorilla. It was about a government project that had been hidden from the world, a project that aimed to make primates more intelligent, more human. Keela was part of that experiment, and Maya, unknowingly, was the product of it. She wasn't just a girl raised by gorillas. She was a bridge between two worlds, one of human intellect and the raw instincts of the wild. As Lena absorbed this revelation, she felt a sense of disbelief mixed with awe. Keela had not just saved Maya. She had given her the chance to become something entirely new, a being that existed between both the human and gorilla worlds. But the question remained, why had this been kept secret for so long? And what would happen if the world knew the truth about Maya and the experiment that had given her life? As Lena spent more time with Maya, it became clear that revealing her story to the world would be a complicated decision. Maya was not just a girl. She had become a part of the jungle, an integral member of the gorilla troop. To remove her from this environment, to force her to live among humans, would disrupt the delicate balance she had built with Keela and the others. The bond between them was undeniable. Keela had raised Maya as her own, and Maya, in return, had come to see the gorillas as her family. But there was pressure from all sides. Lena knew that the scientific community would demand answers. What had happened here? How had Maya survived in the wild for so long? And could they learn something from her experience? The world would want to know. The story of a girl raised by gorillas would become an international sensation, something that could not be hidden forever. The government, too, was eager to take action. They had their own interests in the experiment that had created Keela, and they were determined to find out what had happened to their project. They wanted to bring Maya back, to study her, and to understand the extent of the intelligence and survival skills she had developed. But their intentions weren't entirely pure. They saw Maya as a specimen, not as a person. They didn't understand the depth of her bond with Keela or the life she had built in the jungle. Maya, however, had made up her mind. She didn't want to leave. She couldn't imagine a life away from Keela and the gorillas. This was her home, the jungle, the family she had grown up with. Everything she knew was here. To her, the idea of leaving it all behind felt like losing a part of herself. Lena, torn between the demands of the outside world and her growing respect for Maya's autonomy, found herself at a crossroads. She knew the world needed to know the truth, but at what cost? Could she bring herself to expose Maya to the chaos and attention that would follow? Was it worth it, knowing the toll it could take on her life and the lives of the gorillas she had come to love? In the end, Lena knew one thing. The decision wasn't hers to make. Maya had to choose. And as Lena watched Maya stand beside Keela, looking out at the jungle with a sense of belonging, she realized that some truths were too powerful to be controlled. Some stories were meant to be left in the wild, where they belonged. Maya's story was far from over. As Lena continued to witness the girl's connection to the jungle, she began to uncover something even more profound. Maya wasn't just a bridge between humans and gorillas. She was the key to something much bigger, something that could change the way the world looked at nature and conservation. One afternoon, as Lena and Maya sat near the edge of the jungle, Maya's demeanor shifted. She was quiet, thoughtful, almost as if she was preparing to reveal something important. It wasn't until the setting sun painted the sky in deep oranges and purples that Maya finally spoke again. "I remember my parents," Maya said, her voice soft but clear. "They spoke of a place, hidden in the heart of the jungle, a place where the earth could heal, where the forest could grow back. They believed it was real. A place where nature could be restored to what it once was." Lena listened closely, her mind racing. This was the first time Maya had mentioned her parents in such detail. She had always been hesitant to talk about them, but now it seemed like she was remembering something she had long buried. Maya continued, "My parents, they were part of a project. They weren't just studying the gorillas, they were searching for that place. The government wanted to find it too, but they didn't know what it really was. It's hidden deep in the jungle, and my parents believed it could save everything, restore the forest, bring balance back to the world. That's why they were so passionate about protecting the gorillas. They thought if they could unlock the secrets of the jungle, they could unlock a way to heal the world." Lena was stunned. The project Maya's parents had worked on, the research, the conservation efforts, it wasn't just about saving one species. It was about finding a solution to the environmental crises the world was facing. The jungle, the gorillas, Maya, they were all part of a bigger vision. But Maya had no idea where this place was, only that her parents had hidden the truth away, fearing it would fall into the wrong hands. As the day faded into night, Lena realized the full weight of what Maya had just shared. This wasn't just about a girl raised by gorillas. This was about a legacy, a plan to restore the earth, to undo the damage done to the environment, and to preserve the fragile balance of nature. The truth was deeper than she could have ever imagined. Maya was the key, the living memory of a forgotten project, and the answer to questions that had never been asked. What had started as a story of survival had become something much larger. Maya wasn't just the girl raised by gorillas. She was the last link to a dream that could change the future of the planet. But with this knowledge came great responsibility. Lena knew that revealing this secret could have profound consequences. Who could be trusted with such power? And what would happen to Maya if the world knew the truth? These were questions Lena couldn't yet answer, but one thing was certain. Maya's journey had just begun. Maya stood at the edge of the jungle, her gaze fixed on the horizon, her mind filled with the weight of the secrets she had carried for so long. The story of her past was no longer just a hidden memory. It was a truth that needed to be shared, a truth that could change everything. But Maya wasn't sure if she was ready. The world outside the jungle was a place she had never truly known, and the thought of leaving the safety of her family, of Keela and the gorillas, felt impossible. Lena could see the conflict in Maya's eyes, the tension between the life she had known and the life that awaited her. There was no easy answer. The world was eager for the truth, for the knowledge that could revolutionize conservation efforts and environmental restoration. Yet the cost of exposing Maya to such a reality could shatter the fragile existence she had built. As days passed, Lena found herself torn between two competing truths. On one hand, there was the urgency of the knowledge Maya carried, the potential to heal the planet, to restore ecosystems that had been ravaged by human interference. On the other hand, there was the girl who had spent her life in the jungle, who had learned to live by the laws of nature, not by the rules of society. Could Lena, in good conscience, tear Maya away from the only world she knew? Maya's connection to Keela was undeniable. The two of them were more than just mother and daughter. They were partners in survival. Keela had taught Maya everything she knew about the jungle, how to communicate through gestures, how to survive in the harshest conditions, how to be one with the wild. The bond they shared was unspoken, built on years of trust and mutual care. But the outside world was calling. Conservationists, scientists, and government officials were now aware of Maya's existence, and they were desperate to study her. They believed that unlocking the secrets of Maya's upbringing could help them understand how to bridge the gap between human and animal intelligence, to create a new future for the planet. But at what cost? Maya's heart ached as she thought about the future. She had always known she was different, but she had never truly understood the significance of her story until now. She wasn't just a girl raised by gorillas. She was a living testament to the power of nature, the resilience of life, and the extraordinary possibilities of human and animal connection. But Maya wasn't sure she was ready to face the world that wanted to study her, to change her. The jungle was her home, and Keela was her mother. What would happen if she left? Would she lose her identity? Would the world even understand her? Lena, too, felt the weight of the decision. She knew that Maya's story was bigger than both of them, but she also knew that Maya had to make the choice. This was Maya's life, her future, and the truth of her journey could not be forced upon her. Maya had lived among the gorillas for so long, learning their ways, finding peace within their family. If Lena could help Maya understand the true importance of her story, then perhaps she could help her choose the path that was right for her. But the decision would be Maya's, and Lena would respect that, no matter the consequences.